Hello, art people. Welcome to day one of a new lesson, yarn art. I am creating an imaginative and creative art piece so that I can combine ideas. What does combine mean? Yeah, to put together. To generate, what does generate mean? To bring into existence, to cause it to be, to produce it. So it's kind of like another word for creating it. Generate an innovative idea for art making. So I can combine ideas to generate an innovative idea for art making. What does innovative mean? Using or showing new methods, ideas, etc. So it's creative, it's new. It's almost like an invention. It's very innovative and fresh. I'll know I've got it when I've constructed an art piece using yarn that reflects two or more of my ideas. What does that mean? Reflects two or more of my ideas. To show it or express it. So, for instance, his strategy reflected his desire for power. It's reflecting what he wants. It's showing what he wants. But it can be to show anything. It doesn't have to be what somebody wants. It could show somebody's idea. It's reflecting their idea. That would mean the same thing. So it's kind of to show. Before we get on to the next step of this lesson, we're going to pause the video here and go over to watch this video, Ernesto Neto. And this is going to show you one of his art pieces. He's our inspiring artist for this lesson. All right, now that we have watched that, we are going to look at our reference images. So if you are a bear, you can get out the reference images for your table and you guys can look through those. All right, so on our first page, you'll see Ernesto Neto, our inspiration artist, and he created all of his artwork, well, all of this artwork using yarn, and he used a method called crochet. Today you're going to make some yarn art, of course, and I will teach you how to crochet a chain. And these are some different things you could do with that chain, just some ideas. And if the crocheting seems really frustrating to you, you don't have to do crocheting the whole time. You could switch to doing yarn painting, where you just make a piece of a picture out of yarn. And so here's some examples of those. But you, of course, can do any picture you want. It doesn't have to be a picture. This is on this packet. These are just some ideas that I found. Same with this. If you can think of something else to do with your crochet chain, then you're welcome to do that. Okay, which brings us to the next part of our lesson. So I am going to teach you how to crochet, and you will need to try, but crocheting is a little tricky. So therefore, I've created this alternative assignment for you. After we try crocheting for a little bit, if you want to keep on rolling with the crochet, you can. Or if you're like, that's not for me at this point in my life, that's fine. You will be allowed to get a piece of paper. You would then draw a picture, and then you would use yarn. You would cut pieces of yarn, one piece at a time. And then you would pick one section of your art that you drew, brush glue onto it, and then place the yarn on top one line at a time to create that image like in this here. Or you can just continue to crochet. So after we all give crocheting a try, then I'm going to have two different videos going. One over here on the right where I'm crocheting and doing a crochet project, and one over here on the left where I'm making a yarn painting or a drawing with yarn, coloring it with yarn. Okay, so let's get to it. First, we're going to get our crochet hooks. If you are the puppy dog, you can get everybody at your table a crochet hook. Next, we are all going to get a ball of yarn. So if you are the kitty cat, you can get out the yarn for your table. Okay. Now I'm going to show you guys how to crochet. So a lot of this tutorial is going to be simply how to hold the yarn, okay? But before we do our chain, we have to make what's called a slip knot. That's the first part of the chain. And we only have to do this slip knot once for every project. And then we have to do the chain multiple times to get however long you want it to be. So to do the chain, it's going to be like this. You'll just watch first and then you can try it the second time I do it. So first you would put your string over your hand like that. And then you would just kind of hold it in place like this with your thumb and your ring finger. And then you wrap it around these two fingers and it's going to feel really uncomfortable because you're not used to it unless you've been secretly crocheting for a long time. And then you're going to cross over this first line on the front like that. Bring it back and then tuck that into your thumb. And again, you don't need to do this yet. You just watch first. Then you take your crochet hook and you go under the top right of this X that we drew. The top right, you're going to go under that. Then you're going to flip it over the crochet hook and pull this top left out. And then as you pull it out, you're going to turn the crochet hook so it's facing up and pull. And then you have your slip knot. See how it kind of is slippery? It's slipping. It's a slip knot. Okay, now let's do our slip knot together. All right, now you guys get to do it with me. So take the end of your yarn. This is called the tail of the yarn. This is the working part of the yarn, the yarn that's close to the ball. Take the tail and you're going to place it over the top of your hand. So, and it needs to come from the top up here to the top of your hand. So you don't want it to come from the bottom up like this. So not going like that, going like that. Okay. And then what's the next thing? The next thing is we want to secure this so it doesn't wobble away. So we're going to use our thumb and I'm going to just squish the end of my yarn, this tail, in between my thumb and this ring, my ring finger. And it's a little uncomfortable. Okay. And then make sure you're kind of can make scissors. You don't want to like cut off the circulation of your fingers. You don't want to do that. That's even more uncomfortable. So be nice and gentle. Okay, so we're going to go back behind your scissors, your finger scissors, up, and we're going to take this over to the left. Like that. I'll do it again for you. We're going over to the top left. Because remember, we are making an X. So we have an X now. Okay. Here's our X. Okay. And then we're going to take this working yarn, the yarn that's attached to the ball, so not this tail down here, this up here, and we wrap it around. I still have my X. Wrap it around, and then I'm going to stick it in between my thumb and my ring finger so that it's a little bit more secure and not as loosey-goosey. Okay? So I'll do that part again. Make the X. Keep taking this yarn, go behind your finger scissors, and bring it up to the front and squish it in between your thumb and your ring finger, just like you did at the very beginning. So now these little pinchers are holding two things. And again, it's kind of uncomfortable. Then we take our crochet hook and we're going to go underneath the top right, this yarn right here. Zoom in a bit. Underneath this top right line. Okay, so everyone go underneath. And then our next goal is to take this yarn here that I'm pointing at, this top left of our X, and I want it to go underneath this here. And I want it to come out. So to do that, I'm going to make sure that the hook of my crochet hook, this thing at the top, is pointing down. So it's very smooth up at the top. There's not a bump anymore. So turn your hook down, okay? And now we're gonna hook onto this top left. So as we pull it out, it's gonna hook onto that. All right, go ahead. And we're pulling it through. Okay, now you're right here. And you're feeling very uncomfortable and you're like, should I let go of everything and panic? Don't let go of everything and panic. You're fine. Okay, so now we want to twist our wrist so our crochet comes up. And as it's coming up, it's grabbing this yarn, right? Watch. Like that. So it's like I'm wrapping my arm around my hook. So I'm twisting, so I'm like this. So go ahead and do that. And the rest is just to gently, now you can kind of let go with your little finger and your thumb. And you're just going to pull this off like that. And then you just take these two strings and you just pull them. And now you have a slip knot and you did it. Okay. So we will go ahead and re-watch that part of the video for those of you who need to try it again. If it didn't really turn out, we can try again. But for those of you who have something that looks like this, you can now pull the working yarn, pull it up like that, and you're all set. So we're going to re-watch that part. So that way, if you want to try it again, you can try it again. Okay. Next step. So, like I said, and don't worry, you're just going to try for a little longer. Okay? We're going to try for a little longer, and then again, if you're like this is not for me, you will get to make art just by gluing the yarn and pictures. So, no worries if you are already kind of not feeling this. But I'm going to make you try a little longer. Okay? Just a little longer. Hang in there for me. You might change your mind. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys how to hold your yarn. So very similarly to when we made our slip knot, you have to rest the yarn over your hand first. So the hook is up here and you've got yarn going down your hand from your hook at the top down. And then what you're going to do is take this and wrap it around your pointer finger like so. Okay, I'll show that again. Wrap this around your pointer finger like so. And now we have what I like to call rings because like when they're on your finger, they're rings. So I have two rings. So now we need to, these bottom fingers here, we're just going to kind of squeeze this string down here to hold it in place. Just how we needed to hold our place earlier when we were making our slip knot. And note how I call this the tightrope. Because you know, you're like walking on a tightrope from one side to the other. So this looks like a tightrope to me. So the tight rope is like this. And we're squeezing this down here so that way if I pull it on the right side of the tight rope, it won't go away. Look, if I have this open, now my tight rope is going to go forever and ever and ever. We don't want that. So that's why after we wrap it around our fingers twice, you just can squeeze it down here. So it's like this. So now you've got your pinky doing the work, maybe your ring finger's helping you. And now something that really helps me is this knot of our slip knot. We need some help making sure that it's going down. We don't want it on top of the crochet hook or on the like on the side. We want it going down. So I like to take this middle finger and put it in the back and my thumb and put it in the front and kind of give it a gentle little tug going down as I crochet. So it keeps it in its spot. So we've got a lot going on. We've got two rings on our pointer finger. We've got our pinky holding down this string down here. All of our fingers pretty much have a job. And then our middle finger and our thumb are working together to keep this down here. Okay? Okay. So now we are going to get to use our wrist to move this crochet hook around to do our chain, which is our stitch. Okay, so our chain. So we actually get to crochet now. So good job. All right, we're going to put our crochet hook. It's going to go up in the front and then behind the tight rope like that. And that's called yarn over. Whooshoop, because we put the yarn over the crochet hook. Like that. And then, just like when we're making our slip knot, we're going to make our crochet hook, instead of facing up, we're going to rotate it so it's going down. So it's up, we rotate it down. And then, just like in our slip knot, we do that so that way when we pull our crochet hook out, it can hold on to that piece of yarn. And we want to pull it through this hole here. We made a hole when we made our slip knot. So it's going through this hole. And that's why it's nice to have your middle finger back here and your thumb back here, because you can open up that hole a little bit. There you go. You can open up that hole a little bit so you can pull this new string through it. So pull it through. And then again, we're going to rotate our crochet hook to go up now. And you did it. You just made a chain. So that's fantastic. So great job. And if you did it, that's okay, right? That's no problem, because that's literally all it is. Like over and over and over again, you just do that last little part, the chain part. So I'll show you again. So here's my crochet hook. I'm going to go in front of my yarn and then behind it. And that caused my yarn to go over my hook, yarn over. And next step, what's step 2? Yeah, we rotate our crochet hook down. And then step 3 is we pull it through that hole. So I'm just going to wiggle it a little bit so you can see the hole better on the camera. There's a hole right there. And I'm just going to pull it through. And then I just wiggle it a little bit. So I kind of soften up this finger. If I want the hole to be a little bigger the hole, the easier it is to pull your string through it. So you just wiggle your finger a little bit, loosen it up. Okay. And then your thumb and middle finger might be all the way down here. And that makes everything a little bit too flexible, in my opinion. So you want to continue moving your pinchers up. So keep your pinchers as close to your crochet hook as you kind of can. You don't want them to be far away from your crochet hook. It just makes it a little harder. Okay. And I don't like my tightrope to be super long either. That's another thing that is a little uncomfortable for me. So if you need to kind of like let your hand go and reset your hand, wrap around, boom. Then you do that. Okay, so crochet hook down, crochet hook behind, crochet hook down, crochet hook through. Okay, so in front of, behind, down, through. In front of, behind, down, through. In front of, behind, down, through. Okay, at this point, if you have decided this is not for me, that is fine. We can try again next time as well. This is going to be a 2-day lesson. So we can watch this tutorial at the beginning of next class as well. So you'll get another chance. But for now, if you don't want to do, look, isn't this so cute though? It looks like a braid. I just think like it's very, very cute. And again, as you chain, for those of you who really liked that, I want to keep working on that. Look at these things you can make with the crochet chain. And you might be thinking, okay, well, Miss McFarland, like we've seen your crochet things and they kind of go up. They don't just go out. What's that all about? Well, that would be putting a single crochet into this. So I can teach you guys that next class as well. We can go into a single crochet, but we have to have this chain here because you build the stitch to go up. You have to build it into this. It's just like Legos. You have to have a bottom Lego to put a top Lego on top, and then a top Lego on top, and a top Lego on top to build the wall. Well, today I just taught you how to do the bottom wall, the bottom Lego, And then next time I can show you how to attach a stitch here and here and here and to build it up. Okay. And we can do that next time, but today is just the chain. Okay. Now, if you are done crocheting for the day, I'm going to ask you to do something for me. You're going to, we call it frogging because you basically ribbit, which sounds like rip it. So in crochet, we call it frogging because you're going to rip it apart and rip it sounds like a ribbit and frogs say ribbit. So it's just a silly thing. So you take the two ends of your attempted chain and you just pull it. And it's all back to normal. That because so we're not just going to cut it and throw it away. You know, you can use this now. You can use this for your painting. Okay. So like I had said, this is where I'm going to go ahead and split the screen. And over here, I'm going to be chaining. And over here, I'll do the alternative option for you if you weren't feeling that. And I'll be working on a yarn painting. All right. Okay. So you guys, if you are done with your crocheting, you'll need a piece of paper. So if you're an alligator, see how many pieces of paper, how many people at your table are going to be needing paper, and then get that many pieces of paper for your table and then bring it to them. And then same with how many pencils you need to get out. You can do that too. And then puppy dogs, they're going to need glue for that. And then the crocheters aren't going to need anything. Okay. Okay. Um, all right, class. All right. Um, I'm just going to show you how to finish a chain if you're done with that color. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you do is you tug on your crochet hook so that this last loop is long. Tug, tug, tug. Then you get a pair of scissors. The loop goes in two different directions at the bottom, right? It goes into the chain and then the other side goes into the ball. Well, on the side that goes into the ball, you're going to cut that about like that. Okay. And then you are going to take the loop and you can just kind of like put your finger in it and then just pull it. Like you just pull that out like that. And then you've got a nice chain that, again, this is all about combining different ideas. So maybe you've thought of a really good idea for this as you've done this. And also, we're taking notes during this lesson as well. So I'm going to give you a post-it. Everyone's going to get a post-it right now. Okay, I'll have the alligators pass those out. And you're going to write down your name. Okay, bottom right corner as always. And your class, which is 5, and the first letter of your teacher's last name. and you're going to write down some notes from today. So if you have any ideas of what to turn your chain into, or maybe you've been doing the yarn painting, you are going to write down your ideas now. So let's say you were thinking about doing a penguin and you already had started your penguin. For your yarn painting, you would write down penguin. If you have an idea to make a necklace, and don't worry about spelling, okay? Write down a necklace. If you have an idea next time you're going to ask for something from me, maybe um, you have an idea to add something to this yarn that you know that I might have in my classroom, write down that little idea. You don't want to forget it, for next time you work on this. Maybe you have an idea to use a different color next time. Orange plus pink. There's like a plus and sign thing. So just write down some ideas there. Okay. All right. And then you can stack these post-its together and I'll hold on to the post-its for you. And you guys can now go ahead and get back to work on creating your art. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.